Come with me to Techsgiving 2024. It is like the tech homecoming event of the year. This time it was held at the Kennedy Center, so we are on our way bright and early in the morning. It was so much fun. I love the Kennedy Center, and I hadn't been there since I was a kid growing up in the DMV. So it was so good to get up in the Kennedy Center and enjoy the prestige and all the history. Shout out to my Techsgiving crew. There we go. Views from the Kennedy Center, so beautiful. So much history and legacy. So it was so dope to have a lot of the greatest tech minds, black tech minds, come through for that. The career fair was dope. I got a whole bunch of interviews, talked to a whole bunch of people about interview like an Olympian, and got to get a few tips from people on their top interview strategies and words of wisdom. So you will hear that coming up soon. Shout out to all the companies that showed up, Google and a bunch more, to support young and mid-career level technologists, black technologists. The FBI, a whole bunch of people were there showing up to interview candidates right on the spot. Here I am. I cannot remember this guy's name, but I love talking to him. Voice got messed up. Well, the audio got messed up. So here I am. He's giving me his best tips for interviewing. But he basically said you gotta own it and lead with your own brand. This part of the career fair where the expo floor was pretty dope too. Got to hear from one of the recruiters, and she was just talking about her experience as a black technologist working at a tech company. So that was dope. I'm moving through, moving and shaking as usual. And here I am about to talk to some people about working with me for my new book, Interview Like an Olympian, bringing my interview system to a couple of tech boot camps to help with career development and interview skills, because yes, interviewing is definitely a skill that has to be practiced in order to be mastered. Here's some of the dope art from some of the local DC artists. I thought that was pretty dope. A lot of the vendors were definitely A1. I didn't get to shop any of them, but I loved some of the products that I saw. Shout out to Perscolis and Tech Hub for talking to me about bringing Interview Like Olympian and mentoring and advising your students on interviewing skills and strategies. So just got done talking to the Perscolis folks and the Tech Hub folks. Again, you will see a lot of dope vendors, of course. The DMV is known for a lot of its art, a lot of its great thinkers, great minds, brands, artists, entrepreneurs. So shout out to them. Also got to interview this young lady about her interview tips. Went to a really good cyber talk about deep fakes and how to tell the difference when you're using things like AI. So a lot of the breakout sessions were really, really good at Techsgiving. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to the speakers. You'll definitely catch me on stage next year.
Of the different industries that they're representing. So I'm excited to just jump into the conversation today so that we can all leave feeling inspired, feeling accountable to what we can do on our part to truly also ensure that our organizations commit to equity and inclusion as well. And so I'm just going to open it up to the panel. Really would love to hear from each of you how you're able to really balance the pursuit of innovation with the need to prioritize equity and inclusivity in your work.
Okay. Buenos días, buenas tardes, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Hey, it's important. Black Latinos exist, okay? You know, the diaspora is very broad. You know, I'm gonna ask you guys a question first. because we're very inclusive, so I'm not gonna just say women. How many of you folks have ever used any makeup product, foundation, concealer? I know men in broadcasting, you guys use some powders too, so we're very inclusive here. Keep your hand up if you ever had to mix certain colors to find your right shade, because I know I had to. Sometimes innovation is not creating something new. Sometimes innovation is tapping into a market that has been historically underrepresented. That's why Rihanna's Fenty was so transformative. She didn't create makeup, she didn't invent it. She just expanded to 40 different shades that actually encapsulated some of the undertones. And baby, I know about makeup, you know, so.
So shout out to them. That was
to go smooth,
the inclusive
to speed up.
innovation session.
And in that
was
process
so
of slowing down, it's about asking the foundational questions of like, what problem are we actually trying to solve for? And are the people who are experiencing that problem at the table? So instead of building for, it's like, well, how are we building with? And so oftentimes with emerging technologies, there's a select few that gets access up front, and they have these cool ideas, and I get the opportunity to go alongside leaders and say, hey, like, do you think that's gonna be adopted by the majority? And let's actually bring them as a part of the conversation. So in my experience, really thinking about equity and inclusion, it's about slowing down, asking those thoughtful questions to ensure that we're taking everyone on the journey of innovation.
I love that. I know there's that saying that says if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go with others. So
All right, everybody, I'm Jennifer. I'm back with another interview for Interview Like an Olympian. My new book coming out in January. Make sure you check that out. And I'm here today with Kishar, and she is currently interviewing for roles. What kind of roles are you looking for?
Human resources, communication, and marketing.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about what kind of questions do you think is successful when you go into an interview?
I think questions are like more focused on like what skills you have and like what achievements you've done. What was the question? Sorry.
What kind of question like would you ask? Do you feel like make you stand out when you go into an interview?
Like what are your achievements? What skills do you have? What tools have you used? I think those are good questions, but like the questions about scenarios, I think those are not good questions at all.
Yeah. So when you master those kind of questions, scenario-based questions, you feel like you could get that job because those are the right questions that you should be asking.
I don't think scenario-based questions are good.
Oh, you don't think it's good? Okay, why not?
Bad. I think it's not good because like you're asking someone to like make up a whole story. Why not find out like what they actually are capable of doing and not trying to like come up with a random story of how you want them to interpret the story and things like that.
So when you go into an interview, you feel like more your own story, personal storytelling makes you good in the interview?
Yeah, not because a lot of times I feel like interviewers, like they're looking for a cultural fit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a disadvantage to many people when you focus on cultural fit.
I agree. Sometimes those cultural questions is the one that makes you not viable as a candidate because then they rule you out because they feel like you're not a culture fit just because based on how you ask that question, even though you could be the best qualified for the job.
Yeah, definitely. So it's like, they already have like an answer already for the person that they're about to have. So are you really trying to get to know someone's experience and things like that.
Yeah. I agree. Make sure you tap into my book. Make sure you go on ChatGPT too to get around those cultural questions, because you can get some canned answers from ChatGPT. Now, what myths do people normally have about interviewing? Do you feel like what are some, like, what's the worst interview advice you've ever heard?
The worst interview advice I ever heard is be yourself.
Facts.
You can't really be yourself in an interview.
I agree. You can't. I personally feel like you can't be yourself in corporate America,
You
but
can't.
yeah.
You know, culture thing is a thing.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. Well, it was good talking to you. Thank you for pulling up on Interview Like an Olympian. And we are here at Techsgiving 2024.
Yeah.
Geneva, I am back with Interview Like an Olympian Live. That is my book. It's dropping in January, launching. Tap in, check that out. Go to the website. But I am here today with Falashade. And she's going to be giving us her Interview Like an Olympian tips, okay? Because I know she's an icon Olympian interviewer. She has a remote job, guys, so she's on top of it. What type of interview questions do you feel make a candidate most successful? Like, what type of interview question?
The candidate asking,
yeah,
or
like
the interviewer
you.
asking?
No, you. Like, what type of question would you ask to impress the hiring manager?
I would ask them questions about stuff that that specific person has made. A lot of times you can find out who your interviewer is ahead of time. Look at their LinkedIn. Go look at something that they worked on, and that's something that interviewers love.
It is.
Like when I interviewed with Netflix, I was like, hey, I love this new feature you just put out. He's like, oh, you saw that? And he was very excited. He was like, yeah, our team did that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so using the product that they've created.
That's gems, because like you said, whenever you do that, they always get like, even if you're on the phone, you can hear them getting excited about you as a candidate. So what should people interviewing right now, what should they not be asking? Like, what should they not be doing in the interview as far as like questions, behavior, mistakes? Like, what's your advice?
I would say what you should not be doing is talking about anything that you don't want to do. Don't say, oh, if they ask you, do you want to work on front end? Like, oh, well, yeah, I don't really like back end, but I'll do front end. Nobody asks that. Just talk about the positive, talk about what you want to work on, talk about what you want to focus on, and that's how they know where to place you. I would say that...
Lead with your brand.
Yeah, I would say the best way to get a job is to come to conferences like this, Afrotech, Techsgiving, and walk through the halls. And what you do is you ask them, you tell them, I'm not looking for a job, and you ask them, what are they working on? What does their day look like? Can I see your resume, your portfolio? You go read about it, and then you go to the next booth, and you tell them everything you just learned, and they're like, let's get an interview.
I agree.
That's how it works.
I agree. You gotta go with your brand, and you gotta have
I'm professional at getting interviews.
You gotta have a little finesse. Right?
It has to be a little.
You have to have a little finesse.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, Falashade. So my last question is: you're interviewing for your dream role. What question would you ask that like solidifies you as like the main character? Like, you're gonna get this job. You have main character interview energy. You are like the best candidate for this job. Like, what kind of question do you think you should ask?
I'm interviewing for my dream job.
You're interviewing for your dream role.
I mean, I didn't apply for the role. They came to me.
Okay.
So I don't think that there's a question that I can ask that's gonna seal the deal because it's already done.
It's
God
already
said
done.
it.
God already did it. God
Yeah.
did. Okay.
Yeah, he already did it.
Okay.
So
She got main character interview energy, okay?
really,
She knows.
I think the only question I'm gonna ask at the end is the maternity program still a year off? That's all I'm gonna ask.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, we're at Techsgiving 2024. Thank you so much for Lash today, and we're out. Techsgiving 2024. What was they giving? Let's get into it. Black Tech Excellence. All the who's who of Black people in tech. It was amazing. It was giving fits. Let's get into this fit check. From the speakers to the sessions to the innovation, it was giving Black tech innovation, and you have to be here. 2025. Get into Techsgiving. Make sure you get your ticket. I might be speaking next year. Who knows? Might be a panelist. Might be a vendor. All the things. All right.